had the Fed meeting this week, and you certainly couldn't tell how hawkish they sounded by looking at the Bitcoin chart, right? Look where Bitcoin's going to close this freaking weekly candle, right? I mean, what are we leaving this range maybe? Whoa. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here because there's actually a whole lot to unpack. Very, very interesting week in the stock market, particularly as it relates to the crypto market. There is lots of divergence happening. The most divergence we've seen in a long time, years, literally years, right? Because look at the Dow Jones right here, right? Bullish, super bullish. Look at the pullback it had this week on the whole Fed thing. Healthy pullback. Probably going to be some more follow through to the upside. Probably going to be closing candles above this moving average pretty soon, I would say. But let's look at the NASDAQ. Whoa, this is where things get weird. Like, what's going on here? Look at this. Like, whoa, this is a total divergence. Like, we have not seen the major indices go in different directions this drastically in just a very long time. And then what's also interesting is how crypto and tech, aka NASDAQ, have been in lockstep since June. But they are certainly not in lockstep anymore. NASDAQ setting new lows while crypto holds the June low. So what gives? Well, I will offer a few speculations as to what I think could be occurring, right? All in the context of the good old DXY, which had a very interesting week as well. Started the week off incredibly bullish, right? Oh, at the last minute, Friday, when the markets are about to close, DXY just starts falling aggressively. Oh, predictably bouncing off that 702. You're not closing any candles above the 702 on the daily chart. Look at this thing on a weekly chart, and you're starting to see the makings of a topping process occurring here on the DXY, right? Is this not the makings of a topping process? I mean, come on. Even if you still have another pump in this thing is running out of steam. And I think the ultimate magnet that's really pulling it down here is the moving average. At some point in the, honestly, relatively near future, we're going to see the DXY come down to test that moving average. And that could be insane volatility to the upside on equities and cryptos, right? So for all those reasons, basically for this topping process that seems to be taking place in the DXY, I would speculate that the NASDAQ is actually just lagging right now. And I do think it's likely to catch up with the rest of the markets. We have no reason to believe that the NASDAQ suddenly just is going to do its own thing. I don't think that's likely. That's a total anomaly, and I'm not going to make any bets on an anomaly. I'm thinking that you have the Dow Jones and you have crypto looking pretty bullish here, looking like they've been forming bottoms. I think that speaks to the fact that the markets that have not yet started to kind of get that bullish look to them, get that sort of like bottoming look to them, I think that's coming. And I think you can already see it, right? You can already see it on the RSI. You really can. You definitely see that clear bullish divergence from the June low to the October low. You see a strong bullish divergence on the NASDAQ. And you even can see on the weekly chart, you can see that moving average starting to curl just a little bit, right? But then the real interesting thing is what the altcoins are doing, right? It's like, okay, what's going on here? You got banned. Okay, yeah. Wow, that's pretty powerful. That's quite the bounce. You know what I mean? Way above the moving average there. Also, Litecoin now closing daily candles above its 200-day moving average. Impressive. Matic, yeah, these things are pumping. All the way back to Bond. Like Bond, now we can really start to see this move here probably is in fact a wave 2 on Bond. This whole downswing, this is a wave 2. So you got your wave 1, you got your wave 2, you got a wave 3 coming up here. Probably, considering what Bitcoin's doing, right? Considering that Bitcoin is going to be closing a weekly candle above its 100-day moving average. And let's actually look at this. This is a super important metric that I've been following here. The 100-day moving average on Bitcoin is super key, right? Look where Bitcoin rejected 2 times on the weekly, right? This is 100-day, this purple line, 100-day rejection, 100-day rejection. You're now about to close a weekly candle above that 100-day. That is quite the development. We haven't seen something like that since literally, back here, right? So, and this was a false breakout, to be fair, so we have to look at the reaction to the 200-day as well. So, there's still some work to be done. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here, but this is hugely constructive. This is a hugely bullish development that Bitcoin is now closing its first weekly candle clean above that 100-day at the same time that you're seeing cryptos start to move with a little bit of purpose here, right? Above their 200-day. So now you're starting to see the relative strength of the altcoin market against Bitcoin. It's like, is the altcoin market like the most bullish thing like on the scene right now? Like kind of, like literally, like compared to equities, like compared to Bitcoin, compared to, your favorite asset. It looks like the altcoins are starting to lead the way, and they've been leading the way, right? Like look at TRB, same setup as Bond, right? You have this massive impulsive wave 1 that is probably completing a wave 2 here, setting up for a wave 3. Like, yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. You know what I mean? And these bullish structures are taking place when the Fed is coming out as hawkish as they possibly can, right? Jerome Powell is literally talking about they're nowhere near where they need to be for, interest rates. And that's factually correct, because where they need to be on interest rates to fight inflation is literally like above 8%, depending on which metric you're using. And now it's like, which metric are we using? They've already changed the way that the CPI number works. So it's like, we're very confused about the Fed's target, because first of all, they're only raising by 75 basis points, right? We should look at the Fed funds right here, because this is what's interesting is like you're actually starting to see the strength return to this chart, right? Like we thought we were starting to see a little bit of weakness in the trend, but yep, now you can see it's strong again, and that's fine, right? Because it's a relative divergent situation we're looking for. It doesn't matter how strong this trend is if other assets are pumping in spite of it. You see what I'm saying? It's all relative, because what the Fed did say, they did specify, Jerome Powell did specify something, and the markets liked this, and maybe crypto liked it more than the other markets, but Jerome Powell did say that at the December meeting, they are likely to only raise by 50 basis points. So, yeah. If that ends up happening, and it probably will, because basically everything Jerome Powell says he's going to do, he does it, to be fair, give him that credit. If they only raise by 50 basis points in December, do you realize that's going to be Cryptmas? Like, it's all about the divergence, right? The market is primed for something like that. All you have to do is just give it the tiniest little breadcrumb of dovishness, which would be the difference between 75 basis points and 50 basis, which would be the difference between a 75 basis point rate hike and a 55, which would be the difference between a 75 basis point rate hike and a 50 basis point rate hike in December. That would be the perfect amount of breadcrumb. And the markets are already sort of primed to make a move to the upside. And then you give them that. You give them that little tiny breadcrumb, and it's going to be freaking off for the races, I'll tell you. And then what you also got to consider is, what do we got this week? Oh, we got the midterm elections week. If that's not going to be a catalyst for something, I don't know what it is. And what I would like to point out, too, is that when you consider that tech stocks, NASDAQ, these things are just beaten. Well, guess what? They're kind of in a buy zone, right? So if maybe they're about to sort of move off of these lows, even if it's just a quote-unquote bear market rally, it doesn't matter, right? The market is primed for upside. That's the way you got to look at this, right? Some markets are definitely clearly strong, right? Bitcoin clearly strong, Dow Jones clearly strong, NASDAQ not clearly strong, but definitely set up for some upside move, right? This thing is not overbought, it's oversold, right? So not to say that it's going to just suddenly make new highs or whatever. Who knows what's going to happen next? But it's set up to make some moves to the upside, and that will be positive for crypto. Absolutely. And then when you consider that crypto's already moving, it's like, oh, hello, is that like the perfect storm? Are we like literally entering into the perfect storm for the rest of November, into December, into Q1 2023? I mean, when you look at band protocol, it's like, yeah, it kind of looks like it. Jeez. Oh, hey, come on. Shout out to Dogecoin, right? I never got into Dogecoin, but I mean, shout out. Like, come on. Like pumped 3x last week and I totally missed it in the White Knuckle report, but it's just like, yo, this is a big deal, right? This is a big deal. This is like what defines altcoin seasons when remember, Dogecoin is a high market cap asset, right? It's in like the top 15 cryptos or something like that. Like, it takes a lot of liquidity to move Dogecoin. That's my point. It takes a lot of liquidity to move Dogecoin. If Dogecoin is moving from 5 cents in a single pump, in a single weekly candle actually, to 15 cents, then that's like, yeah, okay, there's liquidity in the system. The buyers are stepping up in a big way here. This is a leading indicator. It is, say what you want about Dogecoin, but I mean, this is a leading indicator, right? If people are buying Dogecoin enough to pump it 3x in the course of 1 week, and then it's still holding the price level, it's like, wow, what's going on here? Like, this is, there's liquidity here, right? And at the same time, you got Jerome Powell saying that they're trying to suck liquidity out of the system, but it's like, it's too late for that. You see what I'm saying? It's too late. What happened back here in March 2020? They can't undo what they did here. They printed so much money. They're not the only ones holding that liquidity, right? There's private investors. There's institutional investors. There are market participants who are holding a lot of that liquidity that was printed by the Fed. So when they say they're trying to suck liquidity out of the market, it's just like, well, good luck with that, because a lot of that liquidity is now held by individuals. And that's exactly what we see when we look at something like Dogecoin and we look at something like Litecoin. We look at these high market cap crypto assets which are moving. Look at Matic. Oh, I love it. XRP looking bullish above that 200-day moving average, holding. I mean, like, hello, is this not what we've been waiting for? Like it's like, oh man, we're so afraid to say, like, here we go, it's about to be altcoin season. I mean, I'm afraid to say that. Like, I'm afraid to go all in. You better believe it. Like, fear is a real thing. But this certainly looks like the thing we've been waiting for. It really does. And I think the key metric is that at all of this bullish activity, at the time of all of this bullish activity, the Fed is being as hawkish as they can possibly be, right? They're literally trying to scare you out of the market. That's their favorite thing to do. And it's just not working. It's the divergence. That's all it is, right? So when I look at the NASDAQ, I'm like, okay, you know what? Everyone is thinking the NASDAQ is about to just dump or just get beaten down even further. But I'm like, maybe this is the opportunity for the NASDAQ to potentially do an impressive bear market rally, because it has to catch up to crypto. It has to catch up to the Dow Jones. And I believe it will. We have no reason to believe that it suddenly isn't following those assets. I just think it's lagging. And I think the DXY is a major contributor to the fact that we should expect the NASDAQ to probably recover here pretty soon. We should expect tech stocks to recover. I mean, think about it. Look at just like, just tech stocks, right? I'm taking Meta as just an example. It's like, yeah, this thing probably has topped, right? Like, it probably topped, but like, hello, like, do you think it's going to fall much farther for real, right? And the thing is, if this thing starts to move up, even just on a bear market 702 retracement, that's like Bitcoin having a 702 retracement. That's going to be seriously bullish for other assets. Look how far this thing is off the moving average. I mean, come freaking on, right? You never see assets just getting pummeled this badly indefinitely. This is a parabolic move to the downside. I mean, like, what percentage is this thing down? Like, let's see. Oh my God, it's stuck. It's like almost 80% off its high. And this is a darling stock, right? Like, are you freaking kidding me? Come on. A retracement bounce situation is coming. It's got to be. I'm not to say that this isn't the final low. There could be definitely more lows coming, but not before some volatility. So what I'm saying here is that when you're going to start to see a bounce in something like Meta, when you're starting to see a bounce in something like Google, right? Way down off that moving average, this will be a tailwind for the cryptos, right? This is going to move the cryptos to the upside. The whole tech sector is going to move to the upside. And this is the thing. When you look at Google, you look at Facebook, you look at Microsoft, it's like, look how beat these things are, and then look at the NASDAQ. It's not even that punished yet, right? So there is relative strength in the market, even if market leaders are getting beat. They're set up for retracements at this point. These retracements are going to be bullish for other assets. I think that's giving you that perfect setup for crypto to move. And crypto's already showed us that there's strength. It showed us there's strength. The sign of strength is here, right? You got it. You've got it since June, right? Look when TRB bottomed. It bottomed back in May. Like the writing on the wall has been there for a long time, right? We've known that that crypto is gonna have a big season coming up here at some point, and that season could occur when other assets are just in simple retracements, right? You see what I'm saying? So that is all, that's all good news. And to see Bitcoin closing a weekly candle above that 100-day moving average, that's something to write home about, honestly, considering everything we've seen since literally March 2022, but even really, this thing has been going down since November. It's been a year. It's been a literal year. Retracements are coming, and the altcoins are showing us that. The altcoins are showing the liquidities in the system. So, good, dude.